Welcome back to Rear Repair. Oh my god! Try and just rip that sucker right off. Today we are trying to figure out what my leak is all about. I'm pretty sure I've already got it figured out to the front seal, the input seal on my transmission, and it looked bad on the road like a rear main seal leak, but the fluid that was leaving the puddle was a dark fluid, and I got new oil in the engine, and the oil in the engine is nice and clean and gold, and I never really needed to add any oil on the road. And the puddle that was leaving was really dark, and I'm sure that it was probably from the trans. So I'm pulling the cover off of the lower bell housing right now, and then I'm going to hopefully be able to look in there and see if it's coming from the engine side or the transmission side. And I got a new seal, so we're going to pull the U-bolts off of the U-joints. Drop the shaft out of the way, take the transfer case linkage loose, drop this trans by pulling it out of the engine. There's a spline that goes through the clutch to the flywheel. So then we pull this out, see if I can change that seal, and then put it back up. My output shaft seal leaks too, but we can do that while it's on the truck. So I just want to be able to change that front one for now, and then put it back together again and be roadworthy. And in the meantime, probably in a different video that we'll keep separate, we're going to work on Brody's rear axle swap. So stay tuned. Have a different shifter next time I put this truck back together, and the new shifter is pretty sweet. There, that one can smooth up now.
Plates on the other side, and you don't have that other thing.
See this one? It says the exact same thing.
You don't have that arm and the plates on the other side, whether or not they're the same.
This says, actually, that says, oh, it does say 48. I was trying to figure out what it said. It looks like a 113, a T18. I wire brushed it, but apparently it says T98-148A, and that's what this one says too.
Awesome.
But the weird thing is, this is out of the 61, and that's out of the 58. The 58 has like a disc brake on here, like a parking brake or something. We've never seen it function, so we don't know if what I'm saying is true. But that's what I think. And I have to pull. This castle nut and this castle nut and put this yoke onto that trans. This is the breather, Brody. We know that we saw that one leak. And this rear seal is so bad that it was dripping out just now.
No, that was out of the bolt hole.
No, that was dripping just now when I was leaning back.
Oh.
So I'm going to want to do my output while I got it out. But what we're thinking about doing is putting the 58 trans in my truck while I work on this one. Another thing that's interesting to note is that on this 58 trans, the PTO cover is on the passenger side, on the right side of the vehicle. On mine, it's not there. On mine, it's on the driver's side, which is interesting to note. So then on this 58, there's no PTO on this side like there is on mine. But it's numbers matching and everything functions the same way. So I swapped the rear yoke. Mine looks like this, and the 58s looks like this. Then I had to build up some kind of a little rig here with the board to hold it level, and I need to get that jack and that trans between the frame rails, and then lift that heavy sucker back on there because it won't just roll under the way it is right now. And then we'll be able to lift it up, slide it forward through the throwout bearing where this line goes through the clutch, and then we will change the fluids, and I'll be back on the road again with a 3-year older trans, but it's a lot more tight and quiet and happier than mine because it has a lot less years of service on it. So, alright, we need the extra height of that block of wood underneath this trans in order for this floor jack to lift it high enough for us, and I can't get this under the truck because it's too high for the frame rails. So we are going to jack up the back of the truck. I'm going to go under that leaf spring, and then it'll be between the frame rails, and I'll get to roll it to where we need it to be. Hold it. I'm alright. Okay. Cut. jack. We got it all bolted up. And we ended up needing a ratchet strap to keep it from falling. It did fall once, but we did not get hurt. But that's it, we're on there. The new trans was harder to hold than the old trans because the old trans has a flat bottom and this trans has a very rounded one. So we need a 2x4 as a wedge, but the 2x4 always wanted to fall out. So I had to screw it to the block to keep the round thing right here so it wouldn't teeter. Once we finally got the bolt holes lined up and I put the shifter on and I put it in first gear and then I manipulated the yoke a little bit and that lined up the spline and it put it right in. So now I'm going to change the fluid, put the mini drive shaft back in. I got all the U-bolts cleaned up. The U-joints are in really good shape. I'm going to grease them, put it all back together again, change the fluid. We're ready to roll with a 1958 Travelette A120 transmission swapped in instead of mine until I get mine fixed. Okay, trans is all bolted up and I'm putting in this little drive shaft. I already did the top side of those U-bolts and then I had Brody put it in first gear so it doesn't move while I tighten these ones up. And then I'm gonna grease this fitting here. I guess I could do that quick right now while you're looking. I've already greased the U-joints. I'm gonna grease the slip yoke until the old grease starts to squirt out. There, starting to squirt out up there. It's not coming out down here so much, but oh yeah, you hear that sound. That means that it's really coming out of there now. So I'm going to stop there. It's always hard to get this thing off of here. I don't know why it's so hard. Okay. We're about to find out if there's any water in this 58 transmission. If there's water in it, the water will come out first. Really hoping there's no water in here. It's the first time this has been drained in at least 35 years, probably more.
Could be the first time it's ever been drained.
And then I'm going to fill it with new stuff, fix the front engine mount, take it for a ride. Oh, there's water in there, but not much. Hopefully it was just from the power washing.
It doesn't look chunky at all. At least it's not like chunky. It's pretty smooth.
It's not like chocolate milk. It's actually, you can see through it.
Just looks like old oil. That's good.
Very thick.
Yeah, but I mean it could be 60 years old.
I kept debating on whether or not I wanted to drive around and warm it up before I drained it. But the more I thought about it, the more I thought, well, if there's water in there or any chunks of whatever in there, I didn't want to stir it all up and get it all recirculated just to add new oil on top of it, so I decided to drain it first. I just thought it might be nicer if it was warmer, but today is the first day of spring, so that's good news. Alright, well, I decided I'd like to pour some clean fluid in here just to watch it come out the other side. Just for S and G's. Because then at least I know I got a tiny bit of a flush. Kind of a waste. A quart of oil costs more than a gallon of gas these days. It's just kind of not fair, but see if it's running out down there yet.
Sure is. Yeah, coming right out. Looks clean too.
So the next time I put oil in here, it's going to be 3 quarts of fresh Valvoline gear oil. And then I'm gonna fill it up until it comes out the top hole of the trans filler hole. It's like a lot easier to fill it up here than it is to pump it or squirt it in the side of the trans down here underneath the engine. I think I'm gonna plug this hole so that I can creep her under here. I know there's new stuff coming out, so. Transmission's in. I got new rubber cover NOS from a pile of parts we bought one time, and I actually have a shifter that we got out of a 63. It has a lot more clearance than my old one did, so I'm gonna leave it. I kind of like it. It has a longer throw and it's higher, but before in second gear my shifter was all the way over here where I could actually pinch my finger between my steering wheel and the shifter and my knee. And now this second gear is like 6 inches over. So I like it a lot better. I'm going to keep this lever, and it's just a little bit different. Everything feels a little tighter and a little bit more different, but we'll see. I have a bad feeling that this trans also leaks in the front input seal. We're going to find out. But that's pretty much it. Other than a test drive, I've got new fluid. Every U-joints are all cleaned up. Everything's got new bolts and nuts and screws where they needed to be new. And everything's clean, lubed, tight, ready to roll. And we'll probably end the video with a test drive, but other than that, the transmission's done. I gotta do a few more things before we can do the test drive that are mostly unrelated to the trans. I'm letting the clutch out on this 1958 transmission swap. Am I gonna hit my own caravan?
Not yet. You're good so far. Yeah, you're good.
Shifter's in a weird spot compared to what I'm used to too. So far so good.
This transmission hasn't been used in 35 years. this was out of my truck, this transmission, and my truck was not sitting for 35 years because of a broken transmission. It was sitting 35 years because the Buick engine blew up and they couldn't get the replacement engine to work. So theoretically, the trans was fine.
Test drive, everything was quiet and tight, and just shifted great. I accidentally almost tried to shove it in the first gear because I was so used to having a shorter shifter that it was where it used to be for third gear, so I didn't like that very much, but I'll have to get used to the new shift pattern because it's just way over here more. But as you can see, we just got back, we really wound it up. I could actually hear the tires on the road now, and we could talk back and forth in the cab instead of screaming. And the other trans used to growl so much, I didn't even realize how much noise it made. So we got like half as much noise on the road. Everything was shifting, tight and quiet. It has the exact same gear ratio, so I could go in 70 miles an hour at about 2,700 RPMs. And you can see that there is not a puddle under the truck right now. It is dripping, but we did just put in 3-year-old older trans than I had in there before. So, but it's not a puddle. So this is just temporary swap until I get mine fixed up. So hopefully that's true. I won't run this to the ground, and then I'll have 2 trans that need to be built up. Tomorrow I'm going to change this rear axle seal because I can tell that it's getting on the drum and then it's running down the tire while it's parked. But as far as blown seals go, the damage from our 18.5-hour road trip 2 weekends ago were as follows. Driver's side rear axle seal, inner seal, we blew that, and then we also blew up the input seal on the 61 trans that was in here before. And we also broke the cross member clean through on the driver's side that holds the engine, and I fixed that today. Maybe we'll put that in a different video because it's not related to transmission, just a quick engine mount cross member video. And then so here we go, we're back on the road. I am going to fix that seal tomorrow. Hopefully that goes pretty good, but I'm still going to park on a board because we got a brand new driveway here, and it makes me sick every time I drip oil on it. So that's it. Please like and subscribe and share our videos. Rare pair of Travelettes. Okay.